Hello, I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. And with me today, Roger Ralston, the CEO and chairman of DirectView Holdings. Also, Chris Cutchens, the COO and CFO of DirectView as well. So welcome. So great to have you here.
Awesome to be here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
So just give me an overview of what DirectView is doing.
DirectView Holdings is a main holding company that's set up, it's focused in the security space. So we focus on security cameras, access control, perimeter security, anything from an office building to a small office to huge properties.
Okay.
So that's it. So within the space we have separate subsidiary companies, and we have virtual surveillance and DirectView security systems, which those two companies focus on full service security installations, and we also have apexcctv.com, and that's more of an e-tail site that we sell online products.
Okay, interesting. And you do a lot of customization
Correct.
of the product as well. And I imagine like each individual client, so to speak,
Right.
would have something kind of different that would meet their needs.
They do. They do. We do everything from, people will call us up and they'd like help with the design work and things like that, suggestions on what they should do. And we're full, soup to nuts provider. So we'll help them with the consultation, the design, the implementation, the training, the ongoing support, and just taking it out from there. So we do everything that they need, whether it be just the security cameras or if they need security cameras, access control, perimeter security, turnstiles, like when you enter an office building, things like that. We do the whole gamut.
Okay. So Chris, what kind of industries do you work with?
So I've got a pretty broad experience across multiple industries. So everything from retail to manufacturing to distribution. So pretty broad.
Now, did you see, how are you seeing the overall business? Is there a lot of growth in this area? I know living in New York,
Yeah.
there are cameras everywhere
Yeah.
and security everywhere. You can't go into an office building without showing an ID.
Right. Absolutely. It could almost be considered that it's in its infancy stage, because while there's been security cameras around forever, you used to, when you were younger, you're a kid, you walk into the bank and you see this giant box on the wall, and that had a camera in it recording a couple of frames a minute or something. Now, with the new innovations that they have in security, you have IP security cameras that are putting out the image, like the recording that you have, on your networks. So it's very, very high resolution. The other thing that we're starting to get into with it now is artificial intelligence, facial recognition, things like that. So out here, in Times Square, you can have, pick a face out of the crowd and be able to see the people using the products and services that we sell.
Yeah, it's absolutely
So,
fascinating
yeah,
where this is going. Even at like a football stadium,
absolutely.
you can find somebody that you're looking for. So it's really amazing where this is headed.
Right.
So you're working with companies also in the cannabis space. So that's kind of interesting. And their banking regulations, and we've got, as you are well aware, a patchwork of legalization for the cannabis industry.
Right.
And I'd imagine they have some special needs because they're not really allowed to be in banks yet, right?
To some degrees, I guess they're not. But, I will kind of clarify that one, though. While we do sell to some of the cannabis customers, we're not like a quote-unquote cannabis company. We sell to education, hospitality, aviation. We're like the electric company. Everybody needs the products and services that we sell for the most part. Electric, they have to have. Security cameras is pretty close behind it, though. There's really not a business that opens without it. In that space, they are required to get security to even open their doors. But, I do want to, have that clarification there. We don't want to be pigeonholed per se as a cannabis company, because we're not. We're a full service security company. However, that industry does have a big need, just like the aviation needs a big need.
Right.
The hotels have a big need for it.
Yeah,
so
it sounds like you're really in a lot of a very diverse group of industries.
That's the cool thing about our company, because what we're selling, it's not a specialized kind of item. It's something that everybody needs. Every business needs for the most part. So
now, Chris, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but what are all of the products that you have? So we know cameras. What are some other things that your company has?
So quite a few. So cameras is a very large one. Access controls is another large one. From pivoting from within the camera space, there's also body cameras. Help me out, Roger, with some additional ones.
Well, I was going to ask about that, the body cameras. So that's interesting too. So how does that work into?
Body cameras is something that we've gotten into on a smaller basis. There is a need for it. We're seeing a bigger need as far as if we're.
Would this be police, or who would use?
We have some police departments as customers. We've even got a UPS driver as a customer, where the UPS driver uses on his route. to keep track of the packages and what's going on. He decided, he wanted to do it on his own and keep track of what was going on with it. So there's a lot of different uses for it. It's almost like a GoPro, same type of thing.
And plus it can, if there's some issue or something, you might have video evidence that can exonerate you or
exactly
or whatever. So
exactly.
And schools, of course. So we've seen a lot of school shootings and different safety issues at schools. You also work with schools.
We do. We do. The education market is another market that absolutely needs the products and services that we sell. And we definitely have schools as customers. We're speaking with other schools right now. But due to the tragic events that have happened, more recently, it just kind of brings it to light, and everybody's starting to look at what they need and where they need to go and fortify their security systems.
Now, video is such a big part of our culture, and just every sign points to becoming increasingly more so.
Right.
So, Chris, how do you see that and that macro trend fitting in with DirectView and its business?
Well, it just helps, solidify our overall offering. As you mentioned, that's getting a lot of traction, really across the world. So, we are very laser focused on that and do see that as part of our continued product offering.
So how can someone find out more about the company, perhaps become an investor or just learn or a customer?
Right. They can visit any of our websites. We've got directview.com for DirectView is the main website. We've also got vs-us.com. And then we have apexcctv.com. Like I said, the Apex CCTV side is more of a online e-tail location where people, if they know exactly what they want, or just for small purchases like that. When they get into the larger purchases, those are more of a virtual surveillance DirectView security system kind of side is where those are at.
And are you just in the United States?
We are just in the United States right now. Like I said, we're working, on a acquisition strategy as well. So really, theoretically, we can do acquisitions within the U.S. and potentially, around the world. To tell you the truth, we have the potential to be, a global company.
Well,
really, to find a public company that's in the pretty much exact same space that we are, you have to jump to something like Tyco, which is over 100 years old. So it's a very unique space and just primed for roll-up.
Yes, and there are security issues all over the world. So,
absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us, Roger, and also Chris for coming, and great to meet you guys.
Thank you so much.
Great to see you, Chris. Yes, and thank you for sharing the story. And I'm sure you probably have no idea the issues that you've prevented by being in certain buildings. So
we hear some very interesting stories that get back to us on things.
You want to share one with us?
That we've helped solve and helped seen. So. I don't know that I can absolutely share those.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
They are pretty interesting.
But you know that your product is being effective in preventing problems.
Here's one I get. Hooters is a client of ours.
Okay.
And this one I'll share because they sent it to us actually. They had a person that fell down, tried to sue, and started blaming the waitress and all this and that, and they started a lawsuit and everything, and they were able to pull the video, and it saved them who knows how much money.
Who knows how much? Well, worth the investment. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
As you look to grow. So
thank you so much.
And thank you as well for joining us. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site. Have a great day.